Thank you. Welcome, everyone. We have a little treat today. I appreciate all of you being here. You know, before I share my screen and we jump in, I'll just take this moment to introduce my lovely co-host today, Nalini from Blue Shark. How are
Very
you?
excited to be here. Always love when we can present together. One of my favorites, Jill.
Oh, you're too kind. Not only do
Mhm.
we get to hang out at conferences and have fun there, but we get to do these and hopefully share something that could change your life, could change the direction of your firm. I'm sure if you're on here, you've already probably heard a lot about AI and SEO and kind of what's coming, but I promise you, wherever you stand, whatever you've learned so far, there's going to be something in here that's going to be of value, that you're going to be able to take this and go and either make some changes in your own website SEO, or if you're working with an agency, have that productive conversation about how to really prepare, because we're at this like precipice, of, I don't know, ChatGPT came out a year ago. We're 1 year in. Google is about to change the whole game when it comes to search. Nalini's going to share about that, but I think we got a few more people in here. Thank you all for joining. I'm going to share my screen. We can kind of
Excellent.
jump through. Let me know. Oh, that's not the right button. Let's see. Can you see that?
I can.
Beautiful. Well, what are we talking about today? Getting the most out of your firm's SEO strategy using things like AI, automation, different tools that are just going to help you take your firm to the next level when it comes to what do we really care about? Signing cases from your website. That's really what it's all about for us. I know if you're here, you probably use your website. You probably have other channels as well. But especially when it comes to SEO, if you're not yet doing SEO for your law firm, you're in the right place, right? You're going to learn a few things here that could change your life. If you are doing SEO and you're looking to hit that next level, then again, you're in the right place. A lot of the things that we cover here are going to touch on, what's coming up, and not just like next year, like next month, this month. I know Nalini has some insight into some of the SGE, some of the things that are coming out, which I believe some of these changes are already live, but let me not spoil the whole thing. I'm just going to do some quick housekeeping. You should be able to chat. Let me see. If you can, go ahead. Let's see. Yep. If you can go ahead and I switched it so you can all chat with everyone here. If you're here with us live, drop your information, drop where you are tuning in from today, your city, and your first name if it's not on your screen, so that everyone can see and we can chat with each other. And yeah, if you have a question, you can use the Q&A box. We'll get to that at the end. And then maybe if we have time, if you want to raise your hand, we can bring you up on stage to kind of ask those questions live. But let's keep it moving. All right. What are we doing today? I gave you a little bit of an insight. Nalini's going to get us started in a bit talking about some of the different AI tools to augment your SEO strategy. If you're new to this, if you're not familiar with a lot of the SEO basics, then we'll have a chance to touch on those briefly. But really, it's about seeing what are the new technologies coming out today that can take your firm beyond where you even imagined a year ago, using all the new fun AI stuff. I'll be talking about AI and automation as well. AI is great to get the right content, get people interested, excited, but you need tools to turn that into results, right? That's really what I'm going to be focusing on. And then how to close that loop, making sure that whatever you're doing, whatever strategy that you're going to use when it comes to using AI and in your SEO and different conversion tools, making sure that they all work together, they all play nice, and you are not going to miss a beat when it comes to finding out where the really good sources of business come from when you're doing your website, and how to use data to, again, make growth a lot less painful than it needs to be. So I guess with that being said, Nalini is going to take it away. But Nalini, are you able to share your screen and steal the show from me for a second?
I am. Can everybody see my screen here?
Yes.
All right, perfect. So again, this is conversational. So Joe, as you have questions, or if folks have questions, they want to toss them in into the chat, we can address those as well. I think AI, those two little letters have become so very big in this last year, and everybody is just chomping at the bits to use every AI product that comes out. Oh, there's a free trial here. Oh, I can write my content with AI. Oh my gosh, I don't even need to pay a service to do that, or I don't need to spend my time doing that. And there's just obviously when things are really easy and really quick, they're not always the best in terms of quality or the right thing. So there's a lot of good that AI is giving us. There is a lot of, hey, let's take a step back, let's take a moment, let's figure out if that's the right thing to do. And we could talk for hours and hours and hours about AI. So today what I've tried to do is kind of summarize a few little items, what's coming up with Google and what they're doing with AI. And then a couple of programs that we've vetted at Blue Shark that we have found is kind of helpful for some of the pieces of SEO or the user experience, right? So I'm sharing just the tip of the iceberg, let's say today, but there's a lot more out there. Happy to answer questions after. And keep in mind that a lot of this is experimental. The one thing I will also mention is that for the past year, Blue Shark has specifically invested in a whole department of folks who are having regular meetings every couple of weeks, and they are testing all sorts of AI products, whether they're Google owned or they're just like these products that are coming out that are private. And testing them with different aspects of SEO to see, is this worth it? Is it not? And I can tell you that every month I see maybe 5 to 10 products being tested where we're like, this is not helpful. This is not good, right? Yet. And so a lot of those products are getting better and better, and they might be. But just so where the background of this information is coming from, there's a lot of research going into this, and there are a lot of duds out there, and there's a lot of good ones. So always, I think, research before you use anything. So for the first part of this, how will AI change SEO? And so we know everybody's heard of ChatGPT, and that this is like kind of ahead of the game, and oh my gosh, is Google going to catch up to that, and all these different products. And so Google's answer to this is this search generative experience, SG is what I'll be calling it. And this is going to be sort of a new look and feel of page one, in a way that when you're searching, Google's giving you all these other opportunities to engage with something that's similar to the search that you've asked for, right? Kind of leading you down the search journey. So if I'm going to look up, how do I make a healthy meal? I had seen this last year that what Google had was kind of suggestions, or you have those little questions at the top that say other people searched this and they're related to that topic. Well, SGE takes that another step further. And so whereas the past classic Google would say, oh, here's a couple of options of healthy dinners, right? Or did you also mean keto dinners? Did you also mean Whole30? It kind of say, did you mean? This new page one is going to literally say, here's all the information we know about healthy dinners. Here are companies that do healthy dinners. Here are blah, 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 blah. Each section of this page is providing the searcher with a bunch of different categories and options for them about healthy dinners, right? And so it's user-focused, user experience. There is a local 3-pack that I've seen on some of these other like print screens and in research articles that will exist. In this example you're seeing though, it's just showing what was very early on. So you still have ads at the top, right? You have this generative AI text that kind of tells you about what you search. So in this case, somebody searched website builder. It's giving you different websites that might be good to learn about website builders, right? And so you've got these 3 companies, and it's kind of like your local 3-pack at this point. You can open it up and then you'll see information about the company. And then here you also have more of the products. Remember up at the top, you used to kind of have images and products, shopping, all these different tabs at the top. And now they're really just on page one in their own little section. So you can also see products that work. They give you their sources, all that good stuff. this is being tested. It is very experimental. It is in Google Labs. It is not available to every single Google account right now. So still being tested, still machine learning, still filling its library of information that it's going to have there. And so the big question has been, well, how is this going to be different to optimize for than the classic Google page one? And Joe, did you have a question there that you wanted to?
I did. Thank you
Yeah.
for noticing.
Okay.
You mentioned Google Labs as something that's like an experimental environment. There might be people here who don't know about that, and I'm willing to bet that maybe some of you might have access to some of these tools through Google Labs. Again, not everyone, but Nalini, would you be able to give like people a little bit of insight? Like what do you mean when you say Google Labs, and how can someone actually start to see this on their own page? And also, you said that it's changing, right? So the screenshots from before might be different than what someone sees now or like in a few weeks. Is that correct?
Oh yeah, 100%. So they're constantly evolving and updating. And so if you have this feature in Google Labs and you're able to turn it on and just use it, it's going to be side by side. You're still going to have regular Google Chrome or regular Google, and then you'll have this. But you're right, this week to next week, as you're testing and playing with it, Google is taking all of the data points it's getting of you, these searchers that are using the experimental version, right? And they're updating it in real time. Correct. So Google Labs is, and it's, you can just go to the website, but you can basically, turn it on and allow yourself to have access to a lot of different things. Even in email, if you go into your email, there's like a section that says like tests or labs, and you'll see all these different features that they're allowing people to test. Way back in the day, one of the examples was read receipt or undo send, right? If you're a Gmail user, you can turn on a feature that gives you like 5-10 seconds to undo that send that you of that email, right? That was a lab you could turn on earlier on. So this lab website, and I can give you the link in the chat in a bit, but when you go to that website, you'll see the different experimental items Google's offering, and you can click on them and it'll say, sorry, this is not available for your account, or yes, you can get started now, and it'll just allow it for your browser. But yeah, it's a pretty neat just website that Google offers people to go test things because they need data, right?
Beautiful. Thank you
So
for
yeah,
that.
yeah. So, and if we back here, just the screen below, there was a link that is in this presentation, and you guys can get the presentation towards the end. We can send that to you. So maybe I'll toss the labs link in here as well. So the biggest difference too with that we've seen, and again, very new, hard to have hard data, is that we have seen that the way that Google's choosing the results on the SGE page one is different than the way that it will vet sites on the classic. And that's across backlinks, internal linking, page content, a lot of those fundamentals that we work on to show Google you're the smartest answer and the best answer. They're just looking at it a little bit differently, and their information's not out there yet. We are testing, we have access to SGE, all sorts of keywords and things like that with our current clients, and figuring out why is this one pulling and this one not, what's different here. So I do believe, as Google always does, they'll have some sort of literature education on here SGE is out for everybody and here's what we're looking for, right? They don't try to make it a mystery in saying that we want helpful content. We want content that provides X, Y, and Z. They always do that for us. They've always, since the beginning of time, told us that. They're going to give us that information if history repeats itself for SGE as well, right? But for right now, you are seeing that if we search the term website builder in classic mode, you have a few different results than you have in the website builder in the SGE mode. They're not one-to-one. They're not the exact. And so some of these answers on SGE may have more content, they may have more fluid content, they may be using more modern tools and plugins, things like that. It's just still to be determined, but really important to see that it is a little bit different, that there's research going into that, and that even the organic top 10 is below the fold, just like it was before, but there's so much more to interact with at the top now, right? That these organic results are even that much further out of sight, out of mind with SEO. So now AI and content, this is the biggest one that I hear is, what should we be doing? Can we use ChatGPT? Can we just like have it create things? Can we just do really good prompts? And so for folks who might be on this call right now and don't know what ChatGPT is, GPT is basically a learning system. It's basically a big library. You can ask it a question and it can draft you an answer, right? So it's creating content from scratch based on what you're telling it to do. A prompt is basically you outlining what you want this piece of article to look like. So you can say, I want it to sound like a Southern race car driver is writing this article. You can give it tone. You can give it at a high school level. I want this person to be at a college level that's writing this, right? You can give it level of education, any little thing. And so when it first came out and you would ask it to do something, it's kind of like asking one little question and then you get something crazy, right? And since then, a lot of companies, a lot of folks have made it a product that they sell these prompts, that the prompts are so fine-tuned and so lengthy that the produced article is actually pretty good quality in that it is everything that you're looking for, right? Because you're making a very long prompt. So it is one thing to say that if you use prompts properly, you get better quality information. However, it is still not perfect. It is still giving false information, facts that are not true. So you don't want to just copy and paste this content, right, onto your site. You've heard a lot of people get in trouble for this. They're trying to write their briefs with it. It's making up case law. Like there's just you do not just copy and paste, right? Google can also tell, and there are tools out there that can tell, is this human writing or is this AI produced content? And the fact that that is a tool that can be told tells you that these AI generative content tools like ChatGPT are not providing human content, right? It is not the best quality of content. And so you just want to be really, really careful with just turning around and using that content. We still advise against that. There's talk that AI content will have to have a badge or will have to mandate it have some kind of disclaimer on it so that the search crawlers and the consumers know that this wasn't written by human, right? And so you can see here too, human writing versus AI writing is very different. One's natural, one's very much not natural. One's more repetitive for sure, AI produced is. But these are the types of products that I'm talking about. There's something out there called originality.ai, and it's going to tell you that this article was 100% AI. It can pick that up, right? And it can color code this. And if a product can know that, then Google can know that. So if you are tossing all this content on your site, Google's going to know it's AI. It's not human written, and it's not quality. The biggest thing Google has talked about last year was this helpful content update, that they want content that answers a question but is human, right, at this point. So here's an example of something that we put through where we took AI products or AI articles, we put it through a program, and you could see that it very much picked up that a ton of it was AI, right? That it was not human content. And that's, if there is a way for it to get dinged, it's very easy that it can distinguish to ding it, right? So we're just holding off on that right now. Versus the human writer, what we did was we took articles and we did ones that were like completely human, and then we did some that had a little bit of AI in it, or, you know, had more heavy on sources and citations or like facts in there. And you could see that the higher scores happened on the ones that had a little bit of AI. So they could tell 100% human versus some 50-50, right? And so it's very much that this can be picked up by bots, by coding. So for content, I would say you want to be very careful in using AI content creation, just not copy paste that. It's not beneficial for your website long term. However, there are some really good ways that you could use ChatGPT and things like that. And that is to create a list of topics that you should write on, right? So what are people searching for blah, 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 blah. It gives you a nice list of topics. Instead of having to do tons of research, that's a great way to understand what a lot of people are looking for, right? Editing for grammar can be done pretty well with these types of AI tools for content. And then rewriting content for tone, for perspective, the written accents. These again are those types of prompts you can do. So you can put in your article and you can say, I want to rewrite this content as if I'm writing from the perspective of a doctor instead of a lawyer, right? And those things work pretty well. It also could help if you wanted a quick 500-word article, and then you were going to sit there and read it and kind of go through it and fix for facts and fix if you're the expert in it, right? Fix for facts, fix to make sure it's not duplicative. It does help you give just a baseline of content so that you're not starting from scratch. So those are great things. And one last thing here is a cool AI tool called Pictory, which if you have content on your site, you're looking to create videos are going to be answers on the SGE experience, right? People will want to click in and listen to a video instead of read a whole article. It can basically go through and take all of the content that you have and turn it into videos, which is exceptionally awesome for it to be quick and just do that, right? It's not just transcribing your video into content. This is the other way around. We're transcribing content into a video, which is really neat. So
really quick, Nalini,
yeah,
can
yeah,
you just
yeah,
give like an example, I guess for the audience, right?
yeah,
Attorneys of all kinds. Talk
yeah,
a little bit more about Pictory, because I think that's really interesting. And
yeah.
especially as, video is still a component in SEO, right? It's still something that, at least on traditional organic search, sites with video might affect the algorithm. So how can they use a tool like this to, for their own practice?
Yeah. So, for example, if you have a blog article that's really getting a lot of traffic to your site and you want to keep people on there longer and you want to make sure that you're getting your conversions there, you can take that blog itself, you toss it into Pictory. It's going to pick out the big keywords that are happening there. It's going to create videos, imagery based on those keywords. It's going to allow you to do kind of an overtone if you want to talk over it on the video, but otherwise it will have graphics and things that actually summarize that article. It will create it just from scratch. And so it's ridiculous. There's obviously you're going to need a little human touch and edit it at the end to make sure it goes nice and smooth, but having that video, then you put that at the top of the page. People are landing on the blog page. They might watch the video instead of reading the whole blog. Sometimes you might have people that you have traffic to the page because it shows up, right? It's a great article. It's informative. People click in, see words, click out, right? And so now you're having people bounce. It looks like a lot of traffic, but it's bouncing. If you had that video at the top, people might click the play button, they'll watch the video, and then they'll be like, oh yes, and convert. And if you don't have to spend the time creating that video, that's pretty helpful.
I see what you mean. And another thing, just in terms of, I guess, traditional rankings, is how much time someone spends on a page. And so using video content, they're going to stay on the page more. That tells the algorithm that your content is valuable. That's going to naturally, these are all ways you're not paying money. These are just things that if you do the right practices at the right time, the right way, you're going to start to see better results in terms of your ranking and, for whatever those keywords that really you're talking about. I don't know if we're going to get too much into the keywords today, but I cut you off before, Nalini, so I'm curious to see. Please continue.
Oh no, yeah. So then I was going to say, just in terms of content, that's where I'd leave people. So if other questions on content or everybody came in with that, I'm happy to answer those questions. Otherwise, got probably 5 more minutes here on some cool user experience items, which this goes right into it. So we talked about users wanting to click that play button and to stay on the page, right? So now let's say you've optimized, you get people to your site. Here are a couple of tools. And again, tip of the iceberg, there's a lot of them, but a couple to keep your content more engaging, right? So when they get to the page, images are a very big thing. And I think it makes a huge difference in a website. When we build a website and a firm has done professional photography and they have really nice videos and they give that to us, it can make a template look completely different because we're using photos of the firm versus these stock images, right? And sometimes the stock images don't come across right. You don't get the right color, this and that, whatever it might be. Midjourney is a really cool product that creates photos from scratch based on prompts. So instead of using a Shutterstock and using what exists, you can create the tone you want. You can create whatever aesthetic you want on your website, and it can make that site look so much cleaner, sharper, and compelling for a consumer to stay on it. So for example, this is one from scratch where you're looking for a person sipping coffee outside, standing to the left, smiling into the camera, clear facial features, wide angle shot. Like you're using photography language too, right? To get exactly what you want. Coffee shop in the background. And so you'll see the different options that came up from these different prompts. And it looks very nice if you're looking for that color scheme and that tone on your site, right? They're very clear. It looks like a professional shot. And that is completely generated by just prompts. So you could do this as an example of a photography. So you want like a cartoon, you want it to be pop art, and you want it to be Van Gogh-esque, right? And so those are your prompts up here at the top. And it gives you something that's pretty artistic, right? And kind of cool. And you're using an example photo. So you've uploaded this photo of you, and then you want it to make it look a little bit different for a different tone. But the thing to remember is that this is AI, it is a product. And so sometimes with those same prompts, you get examples like this, and you're not necessarily going to use these particular photos on your website, right? So it's a tool. Remember to just try it a couple of times, but we've gotten some really cool products out of tools like this. Makes your site look nicer, keeps people engaged. And then for video, there's two additional ones, which is one that will take your really long videos, which is kind of cool. So let's say you shot a video for 5 minutes, 10 minutes on a very big topic, and you wanted to break that one video down into 3 different videos on the subtopics. Instead of having a human sit there and edit that video and turn it into 3, Opus Clips will basically do that for you. It will automatically find the lingo, the content, the topic, turn it into 3 smaller clips. And then it also kind of gives, suggested like topics, you can call it, things like that. Descript is another very cool one where it's going to take your videos and add voiceovers and then transcribe your videos. So this is the opposite of the one we talked about earlier. It will take your video, will turn it into content. And so here you can see an example of the Opus Clips where you can change it into 30 seconds. You can turn it into 30 to 60, whatever amount. You can also let it choose based on the topics that you talked about, how long that video should be. You can do by keywords, right? And then Descript is basically able to, like I said, clean up your videos a little bit so you can get rid of the uhs and the ums of your video. It will literally just make it cleaner. It's gonna be able to edit things that maybe even a human won't see, right? But they're basically going to recreate your voice and change some of the words that you've said. It's scary how I've seen some of these programs where I can record a quick video showing our strategy or something like that. And then I can click a button and it will make 3 new videos of me with words that I didn't say together. It took all of my words, my intonation, and it turned it into another video. So all of that technology is out there, but being able to quickly create these videos to be on your site in conjunction with solid SEO so that people can get to your site, then see this and engage with it and keep them on the site is a whole new world. It's just taking the time out of what you have to do. So yeah, so I would say I'm going to pass the torch back here to Joe, and kind of perfectly segueing in, you've got the people to your site, you've got them engaged, and now they actually want to talk to you. But how do you make sure that they talk to you and that turns into actually working with you?
Yes, beautiful. Okay, thank you. Nalini, before I continue, there was just one question about some of the earlier slides that you said from Mo. And it was about when you had the 3-pack on top of that slide, and I don't know if we can go back to that, but
Yeah.
if we're a service company, right? So many attorneys or service providers, are there any indications about how, we're going to see differences between things like products and services, for example? Because I know the 3-pack, I think, started in legal, right? That was the first, but
Yeah.
now it's expanded to other. So can you talk about that?
Yeah. So Mo is a service area, not a law firm, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm assuming that Mo is a service company, meaning a law firm. But Mo,
Okay.
feel free to put it in the chat and
Yeah.
clarify.
Because checking that.
He said yes, we're
You
correct.
said correct too. Okay, yeah. So essentially, that first section I showed you, the SGE, the way that it stands right now, is there's these 3 local options, right? Or just to the right, but then you're going to have products below it. But those products are going to be more like things to buy, right? And we've also kind of, this has happened recently. So products themselves, law firms are supposed to stop using that. It's supposed to be only things that you're going to sell that's like tangible. And so that started happening in around August of last year, where Google said that products should be for products that are tangible. And that's why they created the services area. And the services area allows you to put all your services. It's not a drop down, and you can put descriptions. And those descriptions are extremely important now from our case studies. Products we have left. For right now, products are not harming you. It's still helping you be found in the local 3-pack. So we've kept them there. But what we're running into, or what we've seen people run into, we haven't yet, and that's why we kept them there, is that if you go try to fill in the products field and you put like car accident lawyer, it'll say, sorry, this is not a product. It will actually tell you you can't do it. We haven't seen that on the Google business profiles we've been filling in, so we're going to fill them in until we can, right? Because it still helps. So I hope that answers your question. At some point, you want your products not to be listed there as a law firm. You want them only in the services section, and that the services are what's going to work for you probably in the SGE.
Beautiful. Okay,
Yeah,
thank
use
you,
the
Melanie.
products for now. Correct. All right, cool.
And also, I know Ali has his hand up. Ali, you can wait till we're going to wrap up in a few minutes. I got a next part. You can put it in the chat, the Q&A box, or if you want to come on stage live, wait till we're done with this part, and then we will take your question on stage, because why not? Okay, very cool. Can you see my screen, Nalini?
Yes.
All right, good. We're going to jump in. So far, we've talked about different ways you can leverage all the new technologies to get the right people to your site, get them interested, get them engaged, get them hungry, right? That is so important. But if you stop there and you're not leveraging a lot of the tools and technologies, and automation is what I'll focus on, to turn that interest into results, then you're not going to see the type of growth that you're looking for, that you deserve. So how can we use all of this to make the rest of the process more effective in terms of using the right tools, getting people to not just raise their hand, but get them further, faster in the process of hiring you, right? It's going to be different for different practice areas, which we'll talk about. All right, it's not a surprise. If you're on this webinar, you've heard of Intaker, right? You probably saw a little chat, but when we talk about chat and automation in this case, right, how is that going to help redefine the sense of engagement for your visitors of the website? You might be using a chat now, maybe you're not, maybe you had before. And if you're part of an Intaker family, welcome. Okay, so when it comes to this process, right, you want to use something that is both modern, but it works easily, intuitively, simply. And an automated chat versus a live chat is something I still hear a lot of debate about back and forth. I'll get to the numbers and some of that in a bit, but right, no matter which tool that you're using, there's a few things that you want to check for, right? Automation in your chat, I can just tell you, is going to solve 2 big problems, right? The first is going to be the speed of the interaction, right? If someone is going to take 1 minute or 5 minutes or 30 minutes just to submit an inquiry on the website, you can probably guess that if it's going to take a long time, 5 minutes or more, that's going to potentially hurt your conversions, right? You may see drop off, you might see attrition, you might see fewer leads coming in compared to what you could have if you had a process that moved a bit quicker. The second thing is human error, right? I know if you're here, you probably have people helping you with things like intake, reception, that sort of thing. Not always, but actually the point is even more strong if you're still doing some of this stuff yourself. Having live people, they do amazing work. We cannot, run our businesses, including Intaker, without them. But if it's something that is both, tedious, repetitive, but high stakes, right? Like getting the right information from the right person and making sure they get treated the way you'd want them to, using an automated system is just going to completely eliminate the possibility of any kind of error in the process, right? Your people are great. You need them doing what they do best, delivering that empathy, that warmth, that connection, connecting with your potential clients and your existing clients. But for things like lead conversion, lead qualification, getting inquiries on the website, and getting next steps for that person to take, there are a lot of ways. Intaker is just one tool. I'll say it. I've said it before. There are other tools that can do this, but I'll just invite you to kind of see it through the lens of, what we're doing today. As far as the question about automated chat versus live chat, there's a lot of different ways. People have different opinions on this. If we're to just look at the numbers, I can tell you a lot of the live chat options out there, they might have served you well, but is it potentially leaving money or clients on the table? And I could talk about so many case studies. Just if you're looking to get more qualified leads, especially when you're using the best technologies and AI to get traffic to your site, you don't want to lose them in the last minute, right? Using a chat automated tool is going to help. When it comes to that next step, however, so someone comes, they enter your website, they might share some information. Rarely do you want them to have to wait to take that next step, that next action, right? So how can you use tools and systems that make that process, take them further, faster along the journey? Now, what does that look like? It's going to be a bit different for something like a contingency firm, like a personal injury versus a consultation-based firm. You might want someone, if it is like a PI or related practice area, to get on the phone with them right away. Even more so, if they are qualified, you want them to speak to an attorney as soon as possible, right? We'll talk about some of the ways that AI can help fast track that part of the process. But the other side of things is, let's say you do family law, you do estate planning, you do something where there might be a consultation, even if it's just a 15-minute discovery call. Maybe you do estate planning and you're a little bit choosy, but you still need that initial call. When someone reaches out, when they've gone through, seen your website, seen the content, decided that it might be worth it to talk to this person, then after they submit that inquiry, especially if you're offering consultations, why not give them the chance right at the next step, at the end of that experience, to go ahead and schedule that, so you and your team and your live people can now take them through the next steps in the journey, right? So if you are a consultation-based practice and you want to see how you can connect things like your calendar, your scheduler to your conversion tools on your website, then we can talk later. Okay, now this is an exciting one. AI-driven lead qualification. Now, especially, I'm not showing the chat example right now. If we have time, we'll go through that in a bit. But when you get someone reaching out through the website, they share certain information, depending on what tool you use, Intaker or something else. That data is going to be, it may be structured to give you kind of the right information more quickly. Or maybe if something that's a little bit unstructured, it's just kind of like a free form chat, that might be a little bit different. But I'll talk about, if you're using chat automation, you can kind of see in advance what those questions you want to ask are to get the right data, to understand, is this person, can I help them, can I not? You can now use AI in products like Intaker to automatically analyze that data and even make judgments, advanced use of reasoning to decide, is this a qualified lead, is it not? It can match multiple criteria. That could include things like jurisdiction. It could include statute of limitations, and even things like severity of injuries, if we're to talk about PI, all just based on the information that they share on the outset, so that you can understand right away who are the best qualified leads, who do you need to pay attention to sooner. And if this needs to go right to the attorney's desk, and skip the normal channels of going through the intake person that then kind of notifies the attorney, there are ways now of using these tools to just really highlight the best opportunities quickly, so that you're never going to miss out on a good potential opportunity that didn't sign with you, right? I mean, I can't see you, participants, but raise your hand for me if you've ever had a great qualified lead come through on your website, but for one reason or another, they didn't sign with you. It looked good. It was going to be a great potential, high six-figure, maybe seven-figure case if you're PI, and it just didn't happen, right? If you can use technology to prevent that from ever happening again, that's one of the things that we're doing here. And we'll actually get to see an example in a minute. But the other part is, what are those next steps in the journey, right? Because when someone comes in, if they convert, if they share some information, whether they schedule a consultation or not, right, they're going to need some of the next touches. If they come in at midnight, if they come in on the weekend, if you want to be able to, send them a thank you note, or just let them know, hey, we got your inquiry, or even if it's a follow-up where the next day, if your team hasn't been able to get a hold of them, having a system that can automatically help you with the follow-up, that could be over text, that could be over email, that could be over different channels, just to make sure you're never going to miss a good opportunity, right? And these little nudges are so important. I mean, I know it's like a sales thing, right? It's never about that. Most sales don't happen on that first outreach, right? They'll take a couple of follow-ups. And if someone reaches out to you, especially if they just found you on a website, they might not have the same loyalty that if they heard your name from a friend. So these small little nudges are just going to make sure that you're able to stay top of mind and make sure you don't get lost in the sauce of whatever they're going through. And so these are some of the other ways that you can use automation now to basically take it from interest to result, right? We're using AI, we're using all those tools just to make sure that we're getting people engaged, interested, but now how can we use automation to not just make that conversion, but actually make that, make that whole sale. I know we shouldn't use the word sales when we're talking about law firms, but you get what I mean, all right? And I guess the last part before we jump into the next section, and thank you, I know we're going to try to wrap up probably in about the next 5 minutes, or move to the Q&A rather. So we're almost there. Thank you all for hanging out. Okay, so for data tracking and conversion, and this is where we're actually going to close the loop, because when you're using, if you're using AI in your SEO, or just your normal SEO strategy, you're driving traffic. Some of those are going to be the right people who need your help, are going to raise their hand and reach out. And when those people actually decide to hire you or retain you to help them, then we need a system that can make sure you're going to see that information, their journey, where they came from. Were they from a Google search? Was it from an affiliate traffic link? And start to understand how they navigated through the process of not just finding you initially, but then seeing things like, where did they enter your website? Where did they actually have that conversion take place? So you can understand the process of what are those parts of your website that are great at getting interest, getting traffic, might be like a blog page, but also what are those sources of the best conversion? That might be an attorney profile page. Oftentimes, if they enter the website on one side, they're going to navigate through. And having this data, and if you're seeing that there might be gaps, right, that there could be a lot of conversions on this one part of your website, then maybe making sure you're doing everything you can to just increase the effectiveness of the content using some of the strategies that Nalini talked about on some of those pages. And if there's areas that you're seeing, less conversion, talk to your SEO company, I would say, because there's a lot of insight that they can maybe share. But using tools that can help give you that data, that insight, it's going to transform the whole conversation. You're no longer guessing. You're not fishing in the dark. You can really see where, what parts of your strategy are moving the needle and adjust that. So, okay, that's this part. And let's see, I think I have time. This will be pretty quick. And thank you, Nalini, for helping on the chat. Okay, so does anyone want to see this? Oh, I'm sorry, went ahead. Does anyone want to actually see how a lot of these tools work? Nalini showed some great examples of using AI to help generate, refine, curate the content. And also a great point you made, I just want to reemphasize, using AI to write it from scratch, maybe not so good. Using AI to help give a new perspective, shed a new insight, and maybe even rework some content that could just be rough. You could get something, 70% of the way there, and have AI really just kind of clean it up and just take the time it takes to get content out the door, do it in way less time, especially if you're still writing content yourself. There's so many tools here, but let's actually see how this looks in when we do it together. Okay, can you still see my screen? All right, good. Well, this is a little bit of a different website, but I'm just going to run through this chat example. I guess the main thing I want to show here is you might have seen how you can pre-qualify leads using automation, but how can we use AI to really determine who are the best types of cases? Again, I'm just going to use personal injury for this example. I'm just going to come in here and we're going to go through we'll do probably a truck accident for this one. And I'll just run through and I'll say that whatever it is, I need help. Nalini, I know you did not get into a car accident today, hopefully not this month, but can I use your name? Is that all right? Can you be my person here?
Yeah, that's fine.
All right.
Hopefully not even past this month.
Oh my goodness. Now there's one thing, I'm getting a call. I'm not going to jump into this right now, but if you want chats to move to phone calls like in seconds, there are ways that you can do that. You can talk to me later if you want to see how you could set that up for your practice. I'm just going to continue on the chat side and ignore the phone call. But again, this is all using different AI technologies to kind of close the loop and take leads to conversions in seconds. Get them on the phone, right? Again, I'll put my email here, but you'll have Nalini's after if you want to reach out to her directly. Okay, so we're going to go through a process, answer a few questions. Really, the goal here is just to understand, is this a potential opportunity, someone that we can help, or is this someone that we cannot serve and we don't want to waste their time or yours, of course, right? I'll say, oh, that's not how you spell that. Who remembers Looney Tunes? Acme Enterprise. I love Looney Tunes. That's aside the point. I'll answer a few more questions here, right? So all this, again, when we talk about chat automation, getting the right information quickly, further, faster. So when you get these leads, you don't have to worry about, understanding, is this person like, do they need a call back right now? Do I need to stop what I'm doing? Or should I, finish up this or maybe have my assistant call them back, whatever it is. Being able to understand how this is going to work is definitely going to help you just get more qualified leads when you're using a process that can just do the qualification for you, right? I'll say that, in this case, maybe we did receive medical care and maybe that was, went to the ambulance and, got some medical texts and did the emergency room. Okay. And then for the next questions, estimate the medical bills. Maybe someone doesn't know this. I'll skip a few of the other ones, right? Just to get to the finish line, because at this point, I'll say that we don't have an existing attorney helping us with this. All right, so, and maybe, by the way, if this is like a family law, estate planning, something where we wanted them to schedule the consultation, we'd have that option here. You don't really need it for PI, so you won't see it. But okay, this is how we're going to go through the chat. And I saw, Rena, we have a question from you. We'll get to that in just a second. So, all right, let's actually see this now, because we come in here. Oh, hey, Nalini. Good. This is, and let me try to make this a little bit bigger. Hopefully that helps. This is what I want to show you, right? This is the chat that happened. This is what came in. This is all the automated information. But right away, you see there's something here that you can have AI automatically read through, analyze, and give you certain outputs in these custom fields section. What can that do? That can tell you if this is a potentially high value case or not, based on things like the types of injuries that they shared, right? And if you want to use different fields together, you can also see, does this match things like our jurisdiction, statute of limitations, right? All those boxes that you'd want to check before, and kind of what's coming in a couple of weeks I can share here is being able to automatically do that call connect thing that I showed you, only for maybe those highly qualified leads. Make a phone call directly to the main attorney responsible for intake when it comes to people chatting on your website. What does that mean? That means if someone comes on your website, they are a good fit and they can talk to the right person in seconds without having to go through a receptionist or anything. Again, if you want to just get more at-bats with qualified leads on your website, automation tools are out there. a lot of them are an intaker, but you could patch together different solutions to make your own. We just put it all in one place. So that's why I would encourage you to kind of learn a little bit more, but also things like the summary, right? So understanding, and this information, by the way, is captured in custom fields. And this is something that you can go ahead and, when you're talking about integrations, if you want to, be able to share this information in other places, there's a lot that we're building on the product side, on Intaker's own dashboard, but also through the integrations. So really, no matter what tool you're using, you should be able to get some of the value of these tools. Okay, so that is how we look at the custom field AI. We've got a few questions, and I think I'll just say this: if there's anything else that you want to see, we'll have time for Q&A. If you're not using a system like this to capture your leads, pre-qualify them, and then help you understand who are the best targets, I invite you to talk to me later and learn more. Okay, so with that being said, I think it's time for Q&A. Nalini, you have a couple more minutes? All right.
Yes, I really, if people don't have questions, I'm amazed with you put in the phone number and it calls that person directly, quickly. I'd love to even know if you guys have stats on if people actually pick up the phone, because that one tells us people just like to engage with a chat. They don't want to be on the actual phone. But also, like, if there's a high level of people picking up the number immediately, knowing that it comes from that, or if there's a way that they know that that call's coming from the interaction they're having right now, that's all very interesting to me.
Yes.
That was a very cool touch.
I will, a lot of this, the Live Call Connect, I won't go through all the details right now. I will fill you in later. And I would encourage anyone, especially, look, if it's personal injury or anything where getting on the phone in seconds is going to help you close more clients, there are tools out there. This is a really good one that can help you do that. And so again, you can't do this stuff unless you're using like the best automation tools available. So yeah, that's what we're all about. And yeah, the AI Live Call Connect is going to be really great. So you'll get the email about that when it drops. Anyway, I think, let's see, was there anyone else? Mo, I had a question. How does it work for clients uploading videos or photos? You can do it. There is an upload function. So we went through that chat process, right? And I didn't show it in this example, but traffic tickets is a simple example. Or even if you are, personal injury, you want a video or a photo of the event or anything, injuries, that kind of thing. There's certain things in here that would be helpful on that initial conversation if they want to upload, like a traffic ticket. You might want that before you necessarily call someone back. However, what I would point to, Mo, is that if this is something that you're using a tool like this, I didn't really talk about SMS texting inside the product, but being able to, continue the conversation with someone and say that, if you do want to be able to, reach out personally now using things like templates. Again, this is not from your cell phone. This is from your business texting number with Intaker, but this does go straight to their cell phone. And then also on here, having both people being able to receive as well as send things like images. You can do all of this in here. So I hope that answers your question, Mel. All right. I don't know if there are any other questions through, because Nalini, you were helping in the chat, so thank you. Do we want to go to the end of this presentation? What do you think?
Good, if we have no other questions.
All right. This is just, I don't know if anyone here knows Price Benowitz. They are, I think, one of Blue Shark's most premier clients. I can say that. Seth Price runs Price Benowitz as well as Blue Shark. They dominate SEO in the 3 states, I guess 2 states and 1, I don't know if it's territory, DC, where they are, but they're killing it right now on organic. And whether you're doing organic or paid, I would just invite you to really think about how you can improve your organic strategy to get better results without having to continually pay for it. So I know Blue Shark has done a great job. When they switched with Intaker, Logan was really sweet, and she said some nice things about the process. And again, that's the difference between a chat that's like maybe more traditional human operated and using the best automation in your intake process. You don't need to use video. You certainly can. They're not using video right now, but they're getting great results. So shout out to Logan for the love. And was there anything else here that you wanted to add, Nalini?
Yeah, I mean, I would even say that we've just had many of our clients ask us about a more streamlined or a buttoned up product. And I mean, this is not selling, but it's true. I'm often connecting folks with, you know, a chat company or a case management system or a CRM or some other legal tool. And I can honestly say that all the folks that we have sent to Intaker have never come back to me and said like, oh, I don't, the tool's not working, the support is hard. I think my biggest thing is the support. I have only heard really good things too about if there's ever a question, people are able to get in touch with you guys. And I think that's a big deal. But I can see from our reports that people end up converting more too. And we're seeing that cases are getting signed and that traffic makes sense when there are tools like Intaker on the website. So I mean, I've been amazed by all the cool things you guys are doing. I like seeing the new updates that you guys have every time we have a presentation in like 6 months apart from each other. But Price Benowitz has definitely been able, I know that for a fact in our reports with them, that it's made a difference. And they're one that's getting really high traffic too, right? Stands out above a lot of other firms. But I think even the firms that are getting half of the traffic that Price Benowitz is getting, it's an amazing tool for it.
Oh, you're beautiful. Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you, Nalini. I'm not sure if Ali, if you had that question you still needed, we can take you if you want to ask it now. I don't know, Nalini, were you able to help him?
Yeah, I think that was, oh no, that was the services one was for Mo. I did
Ali,
not.
you wanna share your question?
Yeah.
It's up to you,
I
my
just
friend.
want to see how I can continue communicating with you guys.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah. Wow.
We have a slide for that.
Does it really have our contact information? I'll put it here in the chat, but it's our email addresses. And then I can give my cell phone. I don't know, Joe, if you want to throw yours out there as well.
Yeah, I'll make sure you all have it. Yes.
I would. No, I really appreciate that. Can you clarify the difference in Intaker is not Blue Shark, or I'm a little bit confused between the two names.
Oh yeah. I don't think that I actually said what I do.
I don't know which company I'm talking to or what's going on here. It's Intaker. I've been involved with Intaker. Now I'm introduced to Blue Shark. I want to know if it's a new name or is
oh no. So two very different companies, right? Intaker is going to be obviously what you're using, and it is that way to convert the leads into clients, and it's that forward-facing, you know, chat, AI chat on your website. Blue Shark, we actually work with law firms only. So we are law firms across the country to help them get on page 1 of Google. So we do the digital marketing piece of it. And we're actually owned by a lawyer himself. We spun out of a law firm and then have been kind of taking those same tricks and strategies and applying them to law firms across the country so you can get leads to your site. And then basically Intaker takes it from there. But we're not sister companies or anything like that. It's just one tool really helps the other in terms of getting those conversions.
So you mean you actually develop the websites and the SEO and the whole thing?
Correct. Yes. So that's what Blue Shark does. Correct. Yep. And then Intaker does.
Okay, got it. Okay, got it. Thank you so much for that. Appreciate it.
I'm glad we cleared that up at the end. Thank you, Ali. And so, yeah,
you.
I mean, there's so many SEO companies out there, and you might be working with a company that you're happy with right now. And I would say I'm very happy for you. But if there's anything that you're looking, and maybe you just learned some things in this call today, that you want to go to your existing company and you know, find out what is happening on their side when it comes to this getting ready for this next level of search. And if on the other hand, if you are looking to increase the types of results you're getting, increase your rankings, I mean, Blue Shark, we've got a lot of clients. We got a lot of clients who choose Blue Shark, and so Nalini would be a great person to talk to. So reach out to either of us. If you scan this code, we'll be able to send you the slide So that'll just pop open an email for you to hit send, and we'll be able to send you that deck right away. I guess before we wrap up, was there anything else, Nalini, you wanted to share with all the people?
I think I'm good. I know that if people would like the presentation, they can just scan the QR code, just hit the send button. It already has an email written up for you. That'll go to Joe. We'll send you the deck, and then I'm tossing in some links that might be helpful for everybody as well. So we'll make sure that it's updated, and we'll toss our cell phones and email addresses here as well.
Oh, you're beautiful. Well, Nalini, it was so good to hang out and do this together. And yeah, anyone else, let us know how we can be of service to you. Sending you lots of love. Enjoy the holiday season, and we'll see you for the next one in, I guess, January. But Nalini, we'll talk soon.
All right. Thank you so much for having me. Appreciate it.
I appreciate it, everybody. Take care.
All right. Bye.